How much longer can Putin remain in power? Vladimir Putin has been in power for 22 years, but it appears that his grip is finally slipping. Vladimir Putin wasn't even properly elected in the first place. He was appointed by President Boris Yeltsin as his successor. He became the president of Russia in 2000 and served 2 terms. Under the Constitution, he could hold 2 consecutive terms in office. However, there was no limit on the number of terms in total. Putin found a workaround. He changed places with his first deputy prime minister, Dmitry Medvedev. After his term ended, Putin became president again in 2008. He then extended the 4-year term to 6 years. Finally, he changed the constitution, allowing himself to serve until 2036. However, the constitutional changes alone may not be enough. Analysts say Putin's power rests on several social contracts. He offered his people a vision of a powerful Russia. He promised stability and strong standing in the world. In recent months, both of those things began to crumble. There are several factors that may contribute to his downfall. First of all, Putin has bet everything on the success of his war in Ukraine. However, with Kyiv's successful counteroffensive, he is growing anxious. Aided by the West, Ukrainian forces are pushing back the Russians. Meanwhile, the Russian army is lacking both men and supplies. The Russian media has been carefully masking the Russian army's failures, but it's becoming more and more difficult. Another factor is Putin's mobilization order. It has caused social unrest to grow inside Russia. Many Russians supported the war, as long as it didn't concern them. But now many Russian men have been drafted. This has caused panic and protests all over the country. It also led to a significant drop in support from ordinary Russians. The third factor is the Western sanctions against Russia. They didn't seem to affect it much at first, but 7 months later, they are beginning to drag the economy down. Ordinary Russians miss Western brands. Also, a lot of the local products were made with imported ingredients. Russian industries are struggling to fill the gaps. What's more, the Russian military also suffers from the sanctions. Russia imported most of its electronic parts. Now they are getting increasingly hard to get. Russia has become a pariah in the world. Its citizens are unable to use international services and travel. And even if they do, they are often met with hostility. For the first time, voices of opposition have grown louder. Even pro-Kremlin pundits are questioning the war. However, Putin clearly does not intend to stop. He has no backup plan and is running out of options. To admit defeat would mean admitting his weakness. It would also expose all the lies that he's fed the Russians. He is willing to do anything to stay in power just a little longer. Vyacheslav Volodin, Speaker